Eagle Startups with Matt and Shona, Australia's only live streaming radio program on new business. Join us on Thursday afternoons from 5 as we dissect the Aussie startup scene and talk to the freshest, most inspiring movers and shakers of the new business world. Eagle Startups with Matt and Shona, only on eaglewavesradio.com.au.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Eagle Startups with Matt and Shona. You're listening to eaglewavesradio.com.au, and we're back and we're pumped, and Shona's back from
Country
her hiatus last week. How are you? How's everything?
I'm good. Yeah, well, getting there. There's nothing like trying to cram a startup week that's already 80 hours into 3.
Yes, I know.
You know,
absolutely.
Work hard. Go home.
Actually,
Isn't that what they say? Like, go hard.
There's been a lot going on this week, not just with you, but with Angela. Angela's been part of this campaign called Too Big to Ignore, which is all
I did
around...
actually spot her on Sunrise this morning.
Did you?
Well, actually, I don't think it was Sunrise. I think it was the clip that they're using for Too Big to Ignore.
To promote it, yeah.
Promote it.
And
she
she's
opened
on
it.
There. So that site is all about, it's been launched by the Chamber of Commerce.
Yep.
And it's all about, in the run-up to the federal election, small businesses banding together to have one huge, massive voice to make a difference, saying that they're too big to ignore. So make sure you go over there, especially if you're a small business. And I would argue that a lot of startups are small businesses.
Well, and if you're not yet, you will be. And the thing is, though, is as a startup, you're always so busy to ever get involved in this stuff. And this is half the issue, is that no one hears our voice because we can never actually get round to getting on with saying anything outside of our own stuff. Yeah,
very true. So go to toobigtoignore.org.au and, cast your vote there. And there's some really cool videos. There's actually a video where... which I thought was hilarious. No. Angela's talking about how politicians should walk a day in small business shoes and come in and serve at the cafe and that kind of thing, which would be hilarious to watch. I know, it would be a great thing to watch.
What would you order from them?
Just my normal sandwich that I order. I'm pretty standard. You know me.
I'll just have a startup sandwich. Yeah. Thanks. It's the same every time because I've got no more brain space.
I'm a creature of habit, and I never steer from what I know is already good and that kind of thing. Yeah. You should know that about me by now. I
like to test you, though. It's
standard. I don't really change my mind. That's why I go to the same places all the time. I'm a very boring person.
Do you? It's a bit Rain Man-ish.
It is a little bit Rain Man-ish. Maybe I am a little bit special. Well, we know I'm special. But
in a good way, though, man.
Now, we've got a jam-packed show through today.
We do.
So let's launch straight into it. Our first guest is Jo from Infodec Communications. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, guys.
So, Jo, tell us a little bit about Infodec Communications, what you do, first of all, before we get into the nitty-gritty.
Okay.
The low-down elevator pitch.
I'll try and keep it to 30 seconds. Infodec Communications started 4 years ago after I'd had a long career in the media. And it was around the time of the GFC, and I saw a need for companies to have a clear communication strategy, but not necessarily take on comm staff full-time. That was when I started up, and it was also at the time that more small to medium businesses were getting more savvy with technology and realising they could put their message out there. So it was just
quicker,
fortuitous.
Faster, bigger and stronger.
That's right, exactly. So it was just a perfect time to come into the marketplace because the need for content has never been greater.
So what would be some of the services that you actually offer businesses?
Okay, so with my media background, I do everything from PR, so press releases and sending them out. I ghostwrite for a lot of people, so ghostwrite for CEOs, ghostwrite their column. I do tender documents, blogs,
riveting
newsletter.
Riveting tender.
But there's nothing like a good tender to really test your brain out. So
how to keep 78 pages interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Or tick those boxes. So quite heavy technical writing to Facebook posts.
Yeah,
so right. Is there any specific industries that you focus on for your technical writing?
Technical writing is a lot of small to medium businesses, maybe medium because they've sort of got a bit of experience behind them.
Yeah.
With tenders, government departments often want to see experience. They want to see lots of staff. They want to see lots of insurance. They want to see lots of things. So I guess it's just a matter of ticking all those boxes. So it is sort of the medium-sized company that would get a tender, and once you've got one, then, it's
You're
like
in.
business award entries. Once you've got one, you've got a pretty good chance
those
of winning
things are
more.
almost like a tender document to enter. as
I
well.
also do business award entries and have had pretty good
Can you
success
do
rate.
mine?
Of course. I've got 100% success rate of getting people at least in the finalists, and it's up to them to sell themselves.
All right, you're on.
Awesome.
I've got to do. I got nominated for Telstra Business Women's.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, this week again.
Well done.
I know.
Great work, Shona.
I haven't done anything about it yet because I looked at it like a tender document and went, I've done that
exactly.
once before, and that took me about 3 days of my life.
Yeah.
And given that I squeezed 80 into 3 hours, that wasn't high on the agenda. Yeah, that's amazing. So can you say who you've done award entries for? Or
Smaller businesses who have then won Small Business of the Year, which is great because then you get the little logo that you can put on your signature, use on all your marketing material.
Yeah.
So I think people underestimate the importance that customers place on seeing that your excellence in customer service. I think it means a lot.
But this is the thing online, isn't it, now? I mean, people really do look for who they can trust and other people's opinions, and even a stamp can mean so much.
Yep.
Particularly if it's one that you can't buy.
Exactly.
Because people have started to work out which stamps you just pay $300 and get a stamp for your website versus the ones you actually have to work for and earn yourself.
Yep. And then you've
Very
got
cool.
it for a year, so it's up to you to use it. But having said that, a lot of businesses that go for these awards are great businesses. It's just they can't articulate how good they are.
Yeah, or they're too busy to actually put the time and effort in to get a good entry in the first place.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
Now, one of the big things in the startup world, and I was having a bit of a conversation / debate with some people.
I'm edging that's more towards a debate on the angrier side.
Yeah,
based on that
around PR and business. And I mean, I kind of sit on the fence, I guess, when it comes to PR for startups and that kind of thing, because being a Shoestring being a media all around what's happening in the startup space and that, I see some really, really great PR for people that have engaged a PR agency or engaged somebody that at least knows what they're doing or knows how to write something versus the other end of the spectrum where I get a one-liner going, I've just had a startup business, please call me if you're interested in writing about it. It's like, well, what is it? How
No, let me do all the research for you. That would be great. I've got so much time.
Exactly. So my big debate is around what should startups be actually looking for? Is it a case of, everybody needs a PR agency, or what kind of skills should they be hiring into their business, even just on a contract basis, to be able to get their message out there and get it clearly out there and concise, so people actually understand what they're talking about, and they then start to, make get an article in the SMH or whatever it is they're after. And the other thing that annoys me as well, I'll just while I'm on my little
It's
rant,
actually not a question, it's just a diatribe.
Yeah, this is just and you can like then take all this and give us an awesome answer around it. Is
One
if you can remember
blanket PR releases that are not really tailored for certain, because what suits me in terms of writing about somebody starting up is going to be very different to what the SMH are going to be interested in writing about from an IT or digital perspective, because we've got different audiences and we're talking about different stories and different stages of businesses.
Yeah. Okay.
Over to you.
So,
and hang on, did you actually get the question out of that?
Yeah, it's like one of those questions at the press club where I get halfway through the answer and say, "Now, what was that again?"
Yeah.
Okay. No. First of all, I think the most important thing is to figure out who you want to influence.
Yeah.
So the Sydney Morning Herald's pretty broad, and it's probably not good for a lot of smaller businesses.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, who are you after to read that and take action?
Yeah.
By picking up the phone or sending you an email, contacting you. So the research, the first and most important part of the research is to determine who you want to reach.
Yeah.
Then look at how you're going to reach them. Do research. Find out what publications you've got the best chance of getting a story in.
Yeah.
Because once you've got that story, it's up to you then to promote it across all your social media channels.
Sure.
But then the other most important thing is to get an angle. You can't just say, yes, I've launched a new business on whatever day. It's got to have an angle, because otherwise, what's
is
the
there
news?
Is there a stat at the moment
Absolutely.
about how many businesses launch daily in Australia?
I don't know, but I probably get between 50 and 100 press releases.
I've seen your inbox.
Just about launches.
Just about
Yeah.
people
Okay.
launching businesses. And
that usually open with, I've got a new business.
look, we went through a stage in 2011 where I think someone launched a soy candle business every day, which is why I have a blanket. I have a blanket rule. I do
That I
not
don't
write about
soy candle business.
candle businesses.
Sorry,
ever.
soy candle businesses. We do love you. Feel free to post on the Facebook page. Just don't send it to Maddie.
But maybe they should be sending it to like women's magazines, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something that's more relevant. Who are going to buy this soy candle or
Unless they've got one that's called, "Hey, startups, burn this and you'll make lots of money."
Now that will be
and
popular.
then they'll sell a lot.
Yeah.
Like the money maker candle.
So I also think Sauce Bottle is a great
Hi, Rebecca.
vehicle
Hi, Rebecca. We love Sauce Bottle.
Yeah.
for getting quotes. So if you're putting together a press release, you can't just have a quote from yourself, because what's the point?
Yeah.
You've got to get quotes from other people to make the press release more of a story.
Yes. Yeah.
And then the journalist can write about it, because they've got something more to write about than a
Well, they've got
one-line.
something juicy.
Yeah. So you've sort of got to
Okay.
write the press release like a story, because journalists are short on time,
Yeah.
and they're more likely to use something that's sort
look,
of
I
semi-written
copy-
anyway.
I copy and paste chunks of things into my, especially like if there's some really good quotes, like
Yeah.
paragraph long quotes or 3-sentence quotes and that type of thing.
Yeah, because it pads
I
it
copy
out.
and paste them, like, because it's like, oh, I don't have to think about that part of the story, and then I can form my opinion on that quote.
Yep.
And all of that type of thing. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's a great approach, to write it as if
Yep.
you're reading it in the
Yep.
Sydney Morning Herald or something like that.
That works good. And
Now-
think of a trend.
Yeah.
Think of something different, you know. Even draw on overseas information,
Yeah.
where you can see, okay, it's happening here, it's coming to Australia, I'm the one that's doing
Yeah.
it, that type of thing.
Now, do you think that people, and again, I'm not like picking on startups and that here, but
Did we love
bigger
startups?
businesses, when you see something, or you see like a huge brand name business or a Fortune 500 or something that are talking about something on the news or on a show like Sunrise and that type of thing, it's not it's not about their business. It's actually as a there's a world topic or something like that that's
Yep.
happening that's applicable to, they've got the skills in that
Yep.
in. What are some of your suggestions around how startups can research better in terms of what's going on out in the world and how they can make themselves applicable to world events that are then going to actually, be able to be used in
Yeah.
the news?
I guess the first thing is to raise their profile. So if they're going to be an expert in something, then they've got to put lots of content out.
Yeah.
Free content to magazines, to blogs, and to promote themselves as an expert. Tweet about that topic. But I find Twitter is a fantastic source of finding out what's going on internationally. Harvard Business Review, a lot of great business sites in the US.
They
sent
do
through
quite a
some
good
great
little blog
tweets.
too, actually. Harvard Business Review.
Yeah,
That's
it's
one
great.
that I actually read.
It's really good. Like, there was one the other day that they said, oh, now HR people are using Twitter to approach people for jobs. Now, if I was in HR, that would be a perfect thing to get onto, promote your business, do a thing, even, start up something to do with Twitter, to say, oh, this was in Harvard Business Review, we're trying this.
Yeah.
Then it sort of becomes newsworthy. And RSS feeds are also a fantastic way, even though Google is shutting that on the 1st of July. I'm sure there'll be other readers. So to constantly gather information where you're not trawling all the time, it's all just there for you to look at when you've got a minute.
Yeah. So if we were to look at, you've obviously been in the industry a while, you've seen the best and you've seen the worst. Give us some of the worst stories. Like, what are some of the biggest mistakes that you see businesses make when it comes to getting content and getting word out there about what they do and why people should use them?
I think there's a misconception that if you write something in a press release, that's how it's going to be reported.
Yeah.
You've always got to have in the back of your mind, it could totally turn around.
What spin can they put on there?
Yeah.
Turn around against and be used against you.
Yeah.
So you go into it with that warning. It's not always going to be exactly how you want it. They might use that press release and then bring other statistics to refute what you're saying. So it comes...
Yeah.
It does come with risk. So that's why I think to back it up with your own content is good. And if you've got a good article that has been printed somewhere, then promote the hell out of it. Like, use it for as much as you can.
Yeah.
So I guess mistakes is, again, like you say, people saying, yes, I've launched this new business.
Like, why?
Yeah. What's
why?
The story? There's no story.
Congratulations.
You need the
Yeah,
story.
well done, you.
Yeah. Well done.
And why
Would you
do
like
people care?
A sticker. Like
Yeah.
that
A good work stamp. Do you remember those from primary school?
Yeah, absolutely.
I love those.
And predictable stuff, I guess, like a, end of financial year newsletter from an accounting firm when there's nothing else for the rest of the year. Now, there's plenty of opportunities to mix it up. You don't always have to talk about accounting. There might be other things that are relevant to your clients.
Like how to spend their money. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, how to save.
Like how to keep some of it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There's a couple of debates we have in here each week.
Yeah, so I guess that would be the main one, like you said, that people think things are newsworthy, but they're really
I think, what do you think, though, too, is that at the end of the day, people are people. So even though they might be a customer of your business for whatever niche you're in, they still often have quite common likes and dislikes. So that can give you a new angle on it as well and get them engaged with that. Would you take that approach in a newsletter?
How do you mean?
So say you are an accounting firm and you are going to run a tip on, it could even be everyone you talk to is probably going to take a holiday at some stage during the year. So what sort of accounting spin could you put on? How do you save?
Sure.
Like, how do you get a deal? What do you do?
And I do that with Facebook, with a lot of people that are mortgage lenders and things like that, because they want a holistic approach. You just don't go for a home loan. They want to be your partner, financial partner. So, again, we do those types of things, like holiday tips, back to school, savings tips, that kind of.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Now, with PR, especially, you've gone through the stages, you land the article in a publication
Shoestring
like the
magazine.
SMH or Shoestring or whatever it is. Sometimes, the article might be great and everything like that, but the readers have a different opinion, and then, you get the commentary backlash and that, and that's a huge part of media these days is interacting with the audience, because the comment sections seem to they take on a life of their own.
With a blog or even with an article on news.com.
That type of thing. I've seen it work both ways, where people have just left it and seen it, but then I see people that obviously it's your business, you're engaged with it, it's your baby, you built it, and you're very protective of it, and they just go for the jugular. Like they just go for it, and it can end up then painting a very different picture to what's being painted in the article and that of them. What are your suggestions on dealing with that type of thing? Because it's very touch and go. Like whilst it's other people's opinions, if people are looking at that, it's going to show up in
when you're emotionally involved in it too. It's hard not to fire back.
No, I wouldn't ever fire anything back. Then I would maybe suggest that you would address some of the issues that people have raised in another blog post, rather than saying, "No, you're wrong, right," type of thing.
Don't feed the trolls.
Yeah, don't feed it, but sort of use it for your own advantage.
Yeah.
And because at the end of the day, you've got a right of reply, and you're the one that owns that blog site or whatever. So why not take the things on board, but again, in a smart way, put across your argument again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now,
twist.
Yeah. Twist it. Use everything to your advantage. There's a silver lining with everything. Don't just look at the what's happening.
Well, what are you going to do?
It's
out there.
How do we put it out there?
And I guess there's a whole business of people that PR people that go in times of crisis management. And I don't know if answering back is always the best thing with some of the things that I've seen. Yeah. I think it can backfire.
Oh, it's like throwing petrol in it sometimes.
Yeah, and it just comes up. It makes good television for the people watching it. But for the people it's just cringeworthy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And in relation to, you mentioned crisis management PR, do you suggest, like, as a startup, you would have a list of people that you would call on and have those relationships prior to any potential situations like that? Or if someone finds themselves in a crisis, what do they do?
The thing I found with small business owners is a lot of them have a great network because you are starting basically from scratch. So I think the smart ones go to join networking groups, you know, chambers of commerce, whatever, and form a relationship of those people that they can call on as trusted, I guess, advisors. They mightn't necessarily, draw on their skills all the time, but if you meet a good lawyer and you've got a good rapport with them, then it's a fantastic way to do business, I think.
Yeah, okay. Awesome. Sometimes also knowing the people who know people.
Yeah. And a lot of people do know 6 degrees of separation.
I'd probably just ring you, Matt. If I needed
crisis.
someone.
In a crisis.
In a crisis.
Oh, God,
I'd have a vent first and then I'd go,
Don't
all right, who do you know?
There'll be a crisis on top of your crisis.
I'll raise your crisis.
I'll raise your crisis. So, Jo, where do we find more information about Infodec?
On my website, infodec.com.au.
Awesome. And are you on Twitter and
Facebook?
Twitter,
JO_Anne Ryan, and Facebook. The Infodec Communications got a Facebook page and LinkedIn.
Nice. Cool.
Everywhere.
So,
Everywhere.
And have you got all the links on the website to keep it super easy?
Yes.
Yeah,
I
perfect.
have. So to share information. I've got a few younger people that work with me and pump out interesting blogs all the time, so they're all on there as well.
Nice work.
So all those links will be on the eaglewavesradio.com.au webpage under the Startup Show page. Thank you so much for coming in, Jo.
Thanks for having me.
That was great in discussing PR. We'll be back after this short break. You're listening to eaglewavesradio.com.au.
You've been listening to another Eagle Waves radio podcast. You can find more great podcasts, blog posts and information at our website www.eaglewavesradio.com.au. We broadcast live 5 times a week from Vivo Cafe in Sydney CBD. If you're in the area, why not stop by and check us out?